If you have never produced 40, 90 kg bags of maize in 1 acre, then you have not yet reached the optimum production level. I have compiled this video with 8 steps for proper maize farming.
We produce around 40 bags of maize per acre.
Mechanized agriculture doesn't entirely mean loss of jobs. Komol Farm still employs people for various tasks.
When you're filling the planter, we require people who are going to put the fertilizer and the seeds into the planter.
In my home area and some other parts of Kenya, I have realized maize farmers do a lot of hard work in their maize farms, but the output is much less than the inputs. They are always getting negative values because of lack of knowledge and application of proper maize farming skills. Most are satisfied with 20 bags or less for maize in an acre. 1 acre should produce up to 40, 90 kg bags if it was done well. Maize farming in Kenya faces numerous challenges that have hindered its growth and development. However, there are also significant opportunities that could be harnessed to increase productivity and profitability. The country has a large domestic market for maize as well as potential for export to neighboring countries in the region. Moreover, there is growing demand for value-added maize products such as fortified flours and snacks, which can provide additional income streams for farmers. The first step of maize farming is maize varieties and production. Always choose hybrid seeds. Hybrid maize is a cross between two different types of maize plants that produce plants with specific traits, such as higher yields, improved resistance to pests and diseases, and better drought tolerance. Production of maize in Kenya is done in high altitude and low altitude. Low altitude takes shorter months, 3 months, while high altitude takes longer, from March to August or September. Some popular low altitude varieties in Kenya are Katumani, MH18 and PH4. In high altitude areas, dairy farmers grow these for their silage. Some popular high altitude maize varieties grown in Kenya are Launch 5, H614 and H621, also H628. I have been planting H614 ever since I joined my parents in this maize production here in Kenya. There is a recent one called Pana. I have seen some of my fellow farmers around Uasin Gishu growing it. In most highland areas, it requires 160 days to maturity. The second step is the land preparation. Proper preparation can contribute to higher maize yields and better crop quality. The land needs to be cleared of any bushes, trees, or grass. This is done by either manual or mechanical means. After clearing the land, the soil needs to be tilled to prepare a suitable seedbed for maize planting. Tilling involves loosening the soil and breaking up any clumps of soil to create a smooth and even surface. This can be done using a disc harrow, chisel plow, or cultivator. Use a Roundup or non-selective herbicide to kill all the vegetation or stubborn grass in the field. This is a bonus tip. Use of non-selective herbicide over a long period on the farm will clear weeds from your farm, leaving your farm clean and hence high production, and reduces your weeding costs. Minimum till or reduced tillage is cultivating land using mechanical methods other than plowing to reduce soil disturbance. The method has been growing in popularity, whereby instead of plowing the land, a heavy harrow is used to level up the land and bring the soil to cover matter that will rot and enrich the soil. The third step is the planting your maize. Maize requires fertile soils for optimal growth and yields. Before planting, the soil should be tested to determine its nutrient content. If the soil lacks essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, fertilizers should be applied to enhance soil fertility. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, NPK. Maize is usually planted in Kenya during the rainy season. The ideal time for planting is at the beginning of the rainy season to ensure that there is enough moisture in the soil. In some regions, farmers plant 2 or 3 times a year to take advantage of the available rainfall. Dry planting is a better option for large-scale farmers, as planting in dry soil gives 100% for planters, especially here in Kenya. Planting crops into dry soil is a difficult decision because seeds require adequate moisture, and if it fails to rain after planting, losses might be incurred. So the spacing of maize is also important to consider for maximizing the yield of maize. The recommended spacing for maize in Kenya is 75 centimeters between rows and 30 centimeters with wheat plants. However, the spacing can be adjusted depending on the variety, soil fertility, and rainfall. If you are using planters to plant, you don't have to worry about spacing since the planter comes with its spacing recommended. Maize should be planted at a depth of 5 to 10 centimeters. Planting too shallow can lead to poor germination, while planting too deep can lead to delayed emergence and poor growth. The seed rate. The recommended seed rate for maize in Kenya is 10 kg per acre. However, this can vary depending on the variety spacing and soil fertility. A 10 kg bag of seeds for 1 acre will give anything from 20,000 to 30,000 seeds, depending on grade size. DAP at the rate of 50 kg per acre. DAP contains phosphorus, which is essential for root development. Planting methods. There are different planting methods used in maize farming in Kenya, including drilling, using a tractor, planter, or a hoe, broadcasting, and dibbling. The fourth step is weed control. Weeds are one of the major constraints in maize farming, and they can significantly reduce yields if not controlled. Weed management involves the use of cultural, mechanical, or chemical methods to prevent or control weed infestations. If you escape weeding, your maize might not even use your top dressing, since it will be used up by the weeds instead of maize. Effective weed management is crucial to achieve optimal maize yields and to reduce competition for nutrients, water, and light. Mechanical or manual weeding is a traditional and widely used method of weed management in maize farming. It involves the use of hose or other hand tools to remove weeds manually from the field. The first weeding should be done within the third week after planting, or as per the growth of the weed in the area. The use of herbicides is more efficient and cost-effective method of weed management in maize farming. Herbicides can be used to control weeds in pure stand maize, reducing the labor required for manual weeding. Herbicides are mainly grouped into two: pre-emergence herbicides and post-emergence herbicides. Selective and non-selective. Selective herbicides kill broadleaf weeds, allowing the maize crops to grow without competition. These herbicides should be sprayed when the maize crop is at knee-high stage, about 30 centimeters high. The non-selective are applied before the maize germinates and weeds have already appeared. This herbicide should be sprayed on weeds visible after planting your maize but before its germination, since it eliminates all types of weeds in a non-selective way. It is important to keep the field weed-free until the maize tasseling stage, after which their presence might not cause crop loss. This is because the maize crop has reached its maturity and competition for nutrients, water, and light is reduced. Therefore, weed management should be carried out regularly to achieve the best yields and prevent weed infestation in the fields. Step number 5 is the pests and diseases control. One of the most devastating pests is the fall armyworm. This pest attacks the crop at seedling, vegetative, flowering, and fruiting growth stages, and it is rapid spread and damage potential can cause up to 100% crop loss. Another pest that affects maize farming in Kenya is the stalk borer. The larvae of its pest are caterpillars that feed on leaves and find their way into the stalk of the plant, feed on the stalk tissues and make the stalk weak. They also tunnel into maize cobs, causing significant losses. The diseases in maize are also another hindrance. To control most diseases, farmers should control vectors such as aphids, thrips, and leaf beetles and ensure proper nutrition. Maize is susceptible to numerous pests and diseases such as stem borers, armyworms, and maize lethal necrosis disease, which can cause significant losses. Integrated pest and disease management, including the use of resistant varieties, biological control, and cultural practices, could help control these pests and diseases and reduce crop losses. The sixth step: top dressing and foliar application. After 2 to 3 weeks or when the crop is about 45 cm high, top dress your maize with CAN or urea at the rate of 50 kg per acre. If you are farming in a low rainfall area, you can use urea. The timely application of fertilizers is crucial for successful maize farming in Kenya. Farmers should ensure that they apply the recommended basal, top dressing, and foliar fertilizers at the appropriate times to ensure optimum yields. Additionally, farmers should use high-quality fertilizers and ensure they are well mixed with the soil or water. With careful management of fertilizers, maize farming in Kenya can be a profitable enterprise. So the seventh step is harvesting and post-harvesting control. Harvesting, post-harvest handling, and storage of maize in Kenya are critical stages in maize production. Proper harvesting, drying, and storage techniques can help to minimize post-harvest losses and ensure food security. Farmers should adopt appropriate storage techniques, and invest in good storage facilities to protect their maize from pest and fungal diseases. Maize is a major staple crop in Kenya and is harvested after 3 to 4 months for the short season varieties and up to 10 months or more for the long season varieties. Harvesting can be done while the maize is green or when it is dry. The choice of harvesting depends on the intended use of the maize. Cobs are harvested either by hand or by use of mechanized harvesters such as combine harvesters. Mechanized harvesting is faster and more efficient but requires expensive equipment which may not be affordable to most small-scale farmers. Post-harvest handling, maize should be properly dried before storage in guard bags to prevent spoilage due to fungal growth or insect infestation. Proper drying of maize also helps to preserve the quality of the grain. Farmers can dry maize in the sun or in a mechanical dryer. In wet season, it is recommended to dry maize in a mechanical dryer to avoid losses due to fungal growth. Market of your maize. The retail price range in Kenyan shillings for maize is between 2,500 to 4,000 per 90 kilogram of sack. So that is it. Maize farming in Kenya with these 8 steps.